NightFall, I'm about to take you on a trip to North Korea, where we will have to follow the strictest travel rules on our planet. First things first, if you are from the USA, South Korea or Malaysia, it's gonna be really hard to take you. This guy just doesn't like your countries. Unless we get you a special permission from both governments, you will never see North Korea with your eyes. Now, assuming that all of you can make it, we need to check our luggage. Wearing blue denim jeans, piercings or makeup is banned, but most importantly, we cannot take the Bible unless we want to be publicly executed. As we're getting closer to the departure, it's time to check our phones. If they contain any songs, photos or videos that go against their culture or the government, we have to delete them before we even get to the airport. And now, finally, that we are about to take off, we have to be ready for an insane jet lag. Because once we land in North Korea, it won't be 2020 anymore. On planet North Korea, the year is Yushesh 109. 109 is the number of years since their founder Kim Il-sung came into the world. Because North Koreans see their dictators like Christians see Jesus, they started counting years from the first leader. Congrats, we have finally landed. Now we are in North Korea. In this distant city, our tour guide will be breathing down our necks all the time. We have to forget about the joy of solo adventure. We can't ever leave the hotel alone. We can only visit sites and shops allowed by the government, and we absolutely cannot take any photos without the tour guide's permission. I'm not kidding. We have to ask every single time. This rule is so strict that if we take a wrong picture of museum, gallery, soldiers, police or even poor people, authorities can tag us and our tour guide as spies. This strictness is quite depressing, so how about we take a good tour to see some food? Well, about that, meals for tourists are usually controlled. 3 meals a day is considered generous. There is not much access to street food and the cuisine is not diverse at all. Unlike most of the countries, there is no McDonald's in every corner. And just in case it matters to you, condoms and tampons don't exist in North Korea. Locals have somehow survived without them. And speaking of the locals, we should not talk to them. We won't exactly get jailed for it, but talking with a North Korean person could make the government see us as spies. So if we ever see a crowd of North Koreans being loud and friendly with tourists, there are hired actors on the streets who work to cheer up the travelers and show North Korea in a positive light. And we have to do some acting as well. On our strict trip to North Korea, we are required to bow and lay flowers at the many monuments of all the dictators. We can't point our fingers at the statues. We can't joke about the leaders. We can't say anything bad, or we get arrested right on the spot. And the show does not end here. Once we got back to the hotel after a long and quite depressing day, Big Comrade could be watching our every move. Telephones, fax machines, television, you name it, they are all possibly wiretapped. Thank you for coming with me. This was our one day on a controlled and strict trip to North Korea. But these and many more strict laws are the reality of over 25 million North Koreans. And that's why, instead of going there and supporting the show, it is better to stay home and together visit with this video. Because the trip to North Korea is a perfectly crafted lie that we should never support. NightFall, what happens when you give a dangerous woman a nuclear bomb? This is Kim Jong-un's youngest sister and possibly North Korea's next ruler, Kim Yo-jong. But why is this lady dangerous? Well, behind this innocent face, there is a dark, dark power. Just 3 years ago, the US blacklisted top North Korean officials like her for severe human rights abuses, enslavement, torture, and many more. There is no way to know which of these she plotted herself, but as the Supreme Leader's right-hand woman, Kim Yo-jong definitely knew about them. Yikes. But it's not only North Koreans who need to understand the dangers of her becoming a leader. North Korea is one of only 9 countries with nuclear bombs, and she seems even less open for global peace talks than her brother. Only 2 months ago, while representing North Korea, Kim Yo-jong decided to finish any negotiations about nuclear bombs with the US. She said the continuation of talks would happen only if the US made major changes in its attitude and ended its hostile policy towards North Korea. Nuclear power in wrong hands is a huge deal, and that's why we need to know who she exactly is. According to research, much like her brother, Kim Yo-jong was a sheltered child who lived and studied in Switzerland, but she went back to Pyongyang to get a degree in computer science. It all sounds very normal until you realize that you're looking at the Hermit Kingdom's most powerful woman. She is only in her early 30s, yet Kim Yo-jong holds some very high positions in a country where women don't have as many rights. She is the second female ever appointed to the country's highest decision-making council. Kim Jong-un trusted her so much he chose her to represent their country in South Korea in 2018. In the same year, she also came with her brother to meet China's and USA's presidents. But what says the most about her is that she controls North Korea's propaganda machine. A vicious machine that made citizens worship their leaders like gods. A propaganda machine responsible for the way all foreign trips show North Korea as a fun place. A machine that spreads the big lie to the outside world, promoting the idea that their highly oppressive country is not as bad as we think. Only recently, the world heard rumors that Kim Jong-un may be dead. And despite the fact that North Korea is still biased against women, Kim Jong-un's other brother prefers music over politics, and his own children are too young to rule. Kim Yo-jong's blood may be the way she takes over as a very dangerous leader. Yes, she is very dangerous. She even blew up this building just to send a clear message of her power. Once again, what happens when you give a dangerous woman a nuclear bomb? Kim Jong-un did more nuclear tests than his father and grandfather combined. And the world could expect even worse from someone so desperate to prove her worth. Only time will show what the future holds for 25 million North Koreans and us. May Kim Yo-jong remind us of how lucky we are to be able to vote for our leaders, unlike the people of North Korea. And as you vote, don't be deceived by someone's looks or empty words. Use your right to vote only to create a better world.
North Korea is not a joke. It's one of the worst countries in the world. It's isolated, it's dangerous, it's strict, but above all, it's depressing. So here is my time inside North Korea. I visited North Korea by taking a 24-hour train from Beijing to the border. Here, you can only enter as part of an organized tour group.
And now we have to take a train to North Korea for 24 hours.
And the minute you cross the border, you enter a whole new world. Soldiers will inspect everything you own.
They check every picture and every page of every book that you have.
Please do not take photos. The person in military uniform.
They make sure you don't carry any Bibles or Qurans or any religious texts because religion is banned. No political books, no nude magazines, no internet transmitters, and no sensitive information. Soldiers even take your phone to check which pictures you have. And it all makes sense, because this country is like a prison. Inside of it, you'll see extreme poverty and extreme isolation, with no freedom, no Wi-Fi, no Facebook, no access to the outside world.
This place is such a close community that everything they produce is produced internally, which means there's no trade or very little trade with other nations.
And no matter how much they try to hide it, North Korea is poor. On the highway, there are very few cars because people can't afford them.
Oh, this is the main highway of North Korea, right here.
Inside homes, there is no stable power because it keeps going out.
Power went off again.
Outside homes, poverty is apparent and the people are trapped inside.
Say hi. Hi. What do you want to say to the camera?
They have a beautiful culture, beautiful traditions, amazing sports events, circuses, and dances. They are proud people, but the problem is they don't matter. What matters in North Korea is the missile, the tank, the soldiers, the fake illusion of power. Military displays are everywhere in the country, and leaders are on every building. This is what the country chose to focus on at every cost. And not this. My time in North Korea only lasted 5 days, and it was orchestrated to see what the government wants you to see. And on my train out of the country, I got checked one last time by soldiers.
We just got checked. And luckily they didn't steal our videos.
And as soon as we were in the clear, I cried. I cried for the people there. There is no solution for the average North Korean. Their country is and will remain a prison. One day, it may be as prosperous as its neighbor, South Korea. But that day is very far from today. See you next week.